guys! Today we're going to be taking a look at an absolutely stunning new survival game, Among Trees. Have you been craving the fun and adventure of a survival game without the anxiety-inducing monsters around every corner? Well, you're in luck. Among Trees is a sandbox survival and crafting game set in a beautiful woodland wilderness. The game is being developed by FJRD Interactive, a small team whose studio is based in the deep forests of Sweden. It's clear to see they've taken a lot of inspiration from their surroundings, and I think, in part, it's what makes this game so amazingly captivating. The game starts with you waking up, surrounded by rocks and trees, and with no real context or any explanation as to how you got there. Looking around, you'll see a small tumble-down shack in the distance and a few items laying around that'll catch your eye. The game is actually pretty intuitive, and once you've picked up the first thing you see, you start to get little hints around the gameplay. I love games that drip-feed you the rules like this, especially with survival games. It really adds to the mystery and atmosphere of the whole thing. I was really impressed with just how much of the game is available at this stage. I've played for a good 6 to 8 hours, and there seems to still be a lot more to discover. I haven't even really found many bugs or glitches at all, so the guys have really put a lot of effort into this first release. The first real objective you have is to repair the cabin, which is pretty easy, and it gives you a good taste of how the game mechanics work. This also creates a permanent marker on your screen, so you don't get too lost while you don't have a map. Of course, the consistent concerns throughout the game are your hunger, sleep, and temperature gauges. So, it's time to forage. Once you start collecting items, you can view them in your backpack. Then you can see what's actually edible, so you can quickly start stuffing your face. I really enjoyed the more realistic approach to this, as some foods can be eaten raw, some you have to cook first, and some even have a chance of poisoning you. Ugh. Also, if you stay out for long after dark, you can start to get too cold, and the more your temperature drops, the more it affects your overall health. So it's best to hop it back to your cosy cabin for a nice cup of tea and a sit... What? What do you mean there's no tea? What the f***? Once your cabin is restored, you can start to add extra rooms, each of which gives you new skills to develop. This is a fantastic way to progress the game, as it leaves you the choice of which skills you think will be more useful to you in your survival, whilst also giving enough direction that you feel you have some goals to achieve. I'm a huge fan of foraging and collecting in games. It really appeals to my inner pack rat, and you can catch me on next week's episode of Hoarders. It's also the reason I'm always over-encumbered in games like Fallout. Always! So I was super pleased to realise that one of the extensions in the cabin is a big old storage attic. Now I can collect everything! I've played a fair few survival games, and although Among Trees won't get your heart rate up quite like the cannibalistic tribes in the forest, for example, good God, they're horrible. The crafting and exploration is still super fun. I really enjoyed the different approach this studio took, as well as the different options for the game you want to play. You can choose easy, medium, or hard, and you can even choose to take out any hostile creatures in the game, so you can really have a calm and tranquil experience. Either way, it's a great game for when you just want to sit back and unwind. Visually, this is one of the most beautiful games I've played in a long time. The art style is clean and elegant, but with gorgeous details like the pollen floating around and the early morning mists, it creates these wonderfully serene landscapes. The lighting is also amazing, and exploring the forest at different times of day gives you the most enchanting views of the scenery. There are also plenty of animals in the forest to discover, from tiny rabbits running around to a rare sighting of a large deer. This is just another layer to the game which makes the world more captivating. While most of the creatures are peaceful, there are some dangerous beasts lurking around, so just try not to get your face chewed off. Along with the striking graphics, this game is also an absolute treat for your ears. It has a perfect balance of ambient sound and soft music which comes and goes. It's incredibly atmospheric and really adds to the overall peaceful feeling of the forest. From the heavy footsteps in your wood cabin to the satisfying tear of pulling mushrooms from the ground. The game has such rich sound effects that you really do get a truly immersive experience all round. Just listen to that little stove. I really don't have too much negative to say on the game. Considering it's still early access, it really does feel like such a clean and finished product. Although, having hidden in a lot of tall grass to play stealth mode in Horizon Zero Dawn, I do feel like ducking out of sight from the bears in this game could use a little work. You do also have to save the game regularly, as going to sleep for the night isn't an autosave like we're used to with many other survival games. I learnt that the hard way. However, the team have really put so much thought into the mechanics of this game. At first, it might sound like quite a simple concept, but it's the smallest details that really give the gameplay a brilliant level of realism, and also what makes it so addictive. All in all, there's a huge amount to keep you entertained in this game, from crafting and foraging to discovering the beautiful different landscapes. It really is a game you can get completely lost in. Well, that's all from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you liked this review, please do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!